What's up, Royal Spartan Tribe? This is Royal Spartan 125, back for yet another great reaction. Now this is the SCP Foundation and its many horrors explained. SCP Lore. Okay, we've done a couple of SCP ones. I think I've only put one on YouTube there recently, or not recently, but like a couple of weeks back. I suppose it's sort of recent when you think about it. It was a live stream reaction. Okay, today I got up and I checked my YouTube, and apparently I got a community guidelines strike. Oh no, a warning. Community guidelines warning. Next time I'll get a strike for a prank video that I put up. A reaction to prank video. Now those videos are still up. Apparently they're against YouTube's guidelines, but the original videos are still there. But when I did a reaction to it, I got a warning saying that if it happens again, I'll get a complete strike, which will suspend my channel. I won't be able to upload any videos, won't be able to do anything on my channel at all. So if I stop uploading, if I stop, doing anything on my channel, you'll know why. Yeah? Just so you're warned that this could happen. It's every YouTuber's sort of fear that this could happen to them, But it's fine. I knew one day it might happen to me, and it finally did. So let's hope I can skirt past it. Yeah. But I've got my first official warning, first and only official warning. I don't know if it has like a certain time limit on it or what. I have to look it up. Just haven't had time. Yeah. Okay. I'll be leaving links in the description down below for this video and its channel. And check out my links while you're there as well, yeah? Okay. Let's jump in.
The SCP Foundation is an organization which catalogs, secures, and studies thousands of beings, artifacts, phenomena, and more, many of which are extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial, or just beyond human understanding. SCP refers to the Foundation's three main mission objectives: to secure, to contain, and to protect. However, the initialism has a second meaning: special containment procedures, which are the methods used to keep the various things within the Foundation from escaping or causing damage. Today, we'll explore the basic lore of the SCP Foundation and take a closer look at 4 phenomena. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to something a little bit different. We've never covered anything like the SCP Foundation on this channel. However, you guys have been asking me to do so since I started covering non-Star Wars content, and yesterday's vote was pretty clear. Now, there are several dedicated SCP lore channels on YouTube, so I thought it'd be fun if instead of doing a deep dive on a single SCP story, we took a more high-level approach, introducing the site from an out-of-universe perspective, while also looking at the in-universe.
Obviously the SCP thing is a thing, right? Is it like a computer game or something? Is it some kind of, or is it like, I don't know. I remember that that creature I saw, I was like, whoa, what's that? I remember seeing somebody doing a playthrough of a video game, a horror game, and that creature was in it. So it's just like a computer game, a video game thing? Huh. How do I not know this?
Introducing the site from an out-of-universe perspective, while also looking at the in-universe lore. At the end, we'll also take a closer look at 4 individual SCPs. Now, I'm not an expert on the SCP universe, I don't know every article, but I have spent many nights reading through the website, especially when I was an after-hours security guard during law school, which was pretty creepy. On a basic level, the SCP Foundation is essentially a collaborative.
Let me tell you something. I was never a security guard, but I did have, I think I've mentioned this before in another video. I used to work in a factory, and I used to do night shift on my own. Yeah? In this big factory room filled with machines, and I would have to be there testing circuit boards. And all by myself. I could, like, other people were in the factory and other departments, other places, but I was there by myself with only pretty much one light above me in the whole room. And let me tell you, your mind plays tricks on you like you wouldn't believe. When you're in a dark room with only one light, I could turn on the other lights in that one row, yeah, which I did. But the thing is, it only stayed on for like an hour. They were on a timer at nighttime. So after 1 hour, those lights would shut off. And I had to walk down in the dark and turn them back on again. Don't get me wrong, I loved that job. It was a great little job. And I'm very much an introvert, so I love the idea of working on my own. It's just the nighttime creepy thing was just sort of put me off. Hold on. There we go. Try and put that down a bit. Sticking up. Okay. Yeah, it creeped me out. Something terrible. Ugh.
Guard during law school, which was pretty creepy. On a basic level, the
least you have
SCP
lights.
Foundation is essentially a collaborative wiki, where users are continually adding new stories that fit within the universe. Individual wiki articles usually detail some manner of creature or phenomenon, while also talking about the security procedures used to contain it. Due to the fact that individual entries are often disturbing, strange, or bizarre, the website is almost like a heavily curated creepypasta wiki. However, the Foundation itself serves as a common element between these stories, making the whole thing a work of collaborative fiction with even an element of community-generated lore. In universe, the SCP Foundation does not have a real ongoing narrative besides that found within individual articles. That being said, individual SCPs often reference other pages, helping to sort of tie the universe together. What's more, most articles have several common features, including the use of redactions, eyewitness testimony, security protocols, object classification, and more. Often articles will have addendums, additions, or project tapes, which provides a sort of timeline-based narrative. Before we dig deep into a few articles to show you guys what I mean, let's first take a look at some of the lore that does exist. The SCP Foundation is a global initiative with the ultimate goal of preventing humanity from slipping into the darkness from which we emerged. For this reason, although the Foundation is definitely cold and lives are often disposed without second thought, the SCP Foundation does have an ultimately positive goal. That being said, it's certainly not benevolent, and the Foundation itself, as well as its employees, often engage in immoral and sometimes even evil behavior, though still dedicated to the protection of humanity. So here's the Foundation's mission statement. Operating clandestine and worldwide, the Foundation operates beyond jurisdiction, empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entity, and phenomena.
Let me tell you, that actually sounds like S.H.I.E.L.D., from the Marvel universe. That sort of idea, you know what I mean? They pretty much can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? There's very little oversight. There's some, but, very little.
Empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entity, and phenomena. These anomalies pose a significant threat to global security by threatening either physical or psychological harm. The Foundation operates to maintain normalcy so that worldwide civilian populations can live and go on with their daily lives without fear, mistrust, or doubt in their personal beliefs, and to maintain human independence from extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, and other extra-normal influence. So the Foundation deals with anomalies and attempts to protect humanity from them, whether through containment, destruction, or at the very least understanding. Each anomaly is assigned a special containment procedure, i.e. how it must be handled in order to maintain safety. The anomalies are thus often referred to as SCP and a number, for example SCP-001. Many anomalies require little maintenance, and some can even be left out in the public, while others can only be accessed by the highest level of SCP employees and must be secured, for example, underground within meters of concrete. The Foundation has dozens, if not hundreds of facilities, including some that are sub-ocean and at least one on the moon. SCPs are given a classification level. On one hand, we have safe objects, which present little risk of escape. On the other hand, we have Keter objects, which are both almost impossible to contain and represent a major threat to human life or sometimes the fabric of space or time. Notably, an object being safe does not mean that it's not dangerous, it just means that there's little risk of it escaping its containment. Access to objects is based on employee clearance level, which is ranked from 0 to 5, with level 5 employees having access to not only the most dangerous or difficult to contain SCPs, but also ones which can provide the most benefit, either in somehow counteracting another SCP or providing a tangible benefit to the user, for example, pills which heal all maladies. Additionally, employees are given roles, from field agent or scientist to expendable Class D personnel, who are often death row felons. To protect the facilities or neutralize rogue SCPs, dozens of task forces with the power of small armies have also been created. So that's the basic lore around the Foundation itself, but let's look at
how many of you actually think a Foundation could exist here in this, in real life? Yeah? I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who believe that in conspiracy stuff where, organizations like this actually exist and they actually do this stuff on a daily basis. Is it hard to believe? No. Not really. Not in this day and age, where governments lie to us all the time, where mainstream media lies to us all the time. This is completely plausible as far as I'm concerned. Am I a conspiracy person? No. But I'm just saying it is entirely possible that this could happen in real life. Just saying.
With the power of small armies have also been created. So that's the basic lore around the Foundation itself, but let's look at some specific anomalies as well as their SCPs. Again, their containment procedures. I've selected 4, which I think give a good overview of some of the different types of anomalies contained by the Foundation. The ones I've selected are also not very complicated.
I've seen
Many
that before.
SCPs are in video form or have pages of background information, which is a bit much for this video. Let's start with the first SCP ever created and probably the most famous, SCP-173. 173 is a creation of unknown origin made of rebar and concrete. The object appears stationary when gazed upon, but if not being looked at, will kill anyone in the vicinity, breaking their neck. Alongside that, the object inexplicably oozes feces and blood. The containment protocol requires that 173 be kept within a locked concrete box at all points, and if entry into the room is required, there are to be at least 3 employees making eye contact. For a single employee, even blinking or looking away for half a second would prove deadly. Next up is SCP-1733, which is probably my favorite of them all. On its face, 1733 is pretty simple. It's a DVR containing a digital recording of the 2010 NBA season opener between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics. The recording, however, doesn't contain the game as it actually happened. It diverges, at the beginning only in small ways, such as point differences. However, as the recording is watched and restarted, the players begin to develop an awareness of their existence, that the game has happened before. This first manifests in announcers developing a sense of intense deja vu, and the players being able to adapt to opponent strategy, but as the tape is rewatched, things just get worse. By viewing 45, the players are unable to score on each other. By 51, serious fighting in the stands has occurred. As the arena realizes they can't escape, they attempt to knock down the doors before devolving into further hedonistic and violent acts. An unknown playback sees LeBron James and Paul Pierce ritualistically sacrificed. Eventually, the lights within the arena turn to a deep red color, and any data after that point has been removed. Because the SCP is just a DVR, the containment process is pretty simple. It's locked away in a digital archive. However, Foundation members are also monitoring the internet to look for any mention of the tape. A similar SCP shows a speech given by Ronald Reagan where he is slowly tortured and maimed while discussing suicide, child abuse, cannibalism.
Oh, this is getting dark. Like seriously, seriously dark. How come I've never heard of this? That's messed up.
Shows a speech given by Ronald Reagan where he is slowly tortured and maimed while discussing suicide, child abuse, cannibalism, and more. As the speech goes on, he sometimes offers prophetic visions of the future before eventually being brutally killed. Another commonly loved SCP is SCP-87, which is simply a stairway. To contain it, this strange stairway was disguised as a janitor's closet and closed off with an impenetrable door. So upon entering the staircase, one hears the cries of a child below them. However, the stairs descend seemingly indefinitely and are impossible to light. The Foundation has sent several teams to attempt to reach the bottom. The first descended for about 30 minutes before developing a real sense of unease. Soon after, they discovered a motionless human face, though lacking nostrils and pupils. The face, and presumably the body it was attached to, was aware of the worker and eventually jerked towards it, causing the subject to flee. The second expedition yielded similar results, though this time, upon exiting, the employee entered a catatonic state from which they did not awaken. The third subject managed to get even deeper, several hundred flights down, discovering a dark hole, kilometers deep, which itself seemed to be infinite. They were apparently killed by that creature who had been following them for some time. A fourth, likely more militarized expedition was launched. However, due to the results of this final exploration, no personnel are permitted access to the files. On a completely different note, SCP-294 is a coffee machine in a personnel break room. It is a source of seemingly unlimited liquids, dispensed upon a person inserting 50 cents and choosing what they'd like to receive. This includes everything from beer to liquid nitrogen. However, there is a dangerous potential here. A cup of joe once expelled not coffee, but a collection of blood and tissue from a worker named Joe. Other strange creations, including drinks which triggered memories or feelings, and even one which removed the leukemia from a patient, dispensing it in liquid form. There are actually many similarly helpful or at least neutral SCPs, which are typically guarded fairly heavily. Briefly, two others that I like.
This thing could remove leukemia? The cancer? What? This thing could cure cancer, or at least remove it safely? I assume safely. I don't know, that's weird. A cup of joe? And from an employee called Joe? Bet that wasn't safe.
Been an extra spooky episode with EckhartsLadder. May the Force be with you.
What the hell? Okay. Ooh. Okay, that was creepy as hell. That was the end of the video. Oh wow, that really creeped me out. I wish I'd left this one to the end now. I've got like 5 other videos to do. Whew. I don't know what you think of this one, but I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I like the. I'm very much one of these people who likes information about stuff, you know. So yeah, this is definitely my sort of video. Let's hope it doesn't get a community guideline strike. Oh god. Just keep in mind this could happen, and maybe not be recent, it may be like months from now, so just keep in mind, yeah? Until next time, I am out of here.